Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's G here. Okay, so I want to talk about how the Olympics has basically put on display global biases, racial trauma, and some love and support. Guys, subscribe to my channel and let's have a little chat.
You'll never be everybody's cup of tea because you're champagne, my love. You're in a league of your own.
By now, we have all seen so many different aspects of what goes on at the Olympics, from Black girl love, joy, support, to people showing their general hate for trans people and people who are outside of the global standard for what womanhood is. Now, I'm pretty sure that we all saw the clip of the Italian boxer who basically forfeited the match because she said she had never been hit that hard. And that just started this whole flipping thing about how the other boxer must have been a trans woman, which was not the case. Y'all, she's a woman. She just doesn't fit the standard. And what was frustrating to see was not only Black men, who we know have all kinds of issues with Black women, but also Black women doubling down on this woman saying, well, she must be a man. They have suffered the same type of ideas from people because they do not fit the standard of beauty, of what womanhood is supposed to look like. And they were ready to do that to another woman simply because they could. Because society has told us that women are supposed to look a certain way, and that certain way is based off of white European female standards, period. The biology, all of the things that they have tested for that determines hormones, blah, 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 for women. Every test and measurement that has been made globally to determine what women are supposed to be hormonally, biologically, was all based off of white European female standards. Not everybody in the world is a white European female. In fact, most people in the world are not. What if we tested the rest of the women in the world and we found out white women weren't really women? I'm joking. But what I'm saying is these variants matter. And this is now becoming more and more evident as our global society is more connected. The biases are becoming more and more evident. And the one thing that I notice in people of color, not just Black Americans, but people of color that I have encountered across the world, they're all very ready to reject the thing that does not fit into the global minorities idea of what's standard. And that thing that's about themselves that might be related to that thing, they want to reject it even more. And that's what we saw in this clip with this basketball player.
Almost lost to some Africans. Yeah, we almost lost to them. We almost lost to them. the ahi tribe.
Now, a lot of people in the United States, Black Americans, we obviously do not know history of other countries, and we don't know how so many countries have been affected by Africa. And I'm going to say we don't know because we're not there. And even if we have a tertiary kind of knowledge, you don't know this impact. And Black Americans should accept and understand that, because we say that about ourselves and the impacts of what American society has done to Black people. But we don't take that into account for people outside of American society, especially other people of color, other people who can identify as Black even if they don't want to. So when I saw that clip, all I thought was, growing up, being a little Black person, everybody in America, everybody wanted to reject the idea that they were African. That because of the negative connotations in the United States and almost everywhere in the world about being from Africa, being African, having African ancestry, despite how obvious it is, and despite how rich and amazing the cultures are on the continent. I think because so much was robbed from Black Americans, we don't know how to connect that. We don't know that we didn't create Afro beats. Africans did. Right? It may have been a tradition that we carried over in the United States that we managed to hold on to. But those connections to reggaeton, Afrobeats that are in Jamaica and Puerto Rico and other places in the island is something that could connect us. But because we want to own something so bad, we fight amongst ourselves. And that's everything that I keep seeing in these situations. When we have a chance to connect and unite and look for something better, to say, well, we need to do better because we shouldn't be basing all of our standards off of one type of woman that doesn't even come close to representing the global majority. No, we try to reject the thing that minority has told us we needed to reject in ourselves and other people, and subconsciously it's just trying to connect with that minority. So when I saw that, that's what I thought this poor boy, this poor man has not grown past the fact that yes, we're all African, white people, all of us came from one source. So the fact that they can so easily and ridiculously behave in this manner, I think that we as people of color, we don't always call it out for what it is. And when we see on a global scale how biased things are, we talk about it individually, we talk about it in certain ways, but we don't unite and say, well, we need to stop doing this to each other. Why were people so still, Black women, still talking about Simone Biles' hair? Who cares? She's there to compete. She's not there to play into this idea of what is acceptable to be seen around the world by the global minority. Because that's the only thing you're worried about. What they're going to think about us. She needs to be flexing when she's on there with all of her medals. Yeah, she's flexing the medals. She don't need to worry about her hair. Why are we worried about her hair? And the funny thing is, and I think most people who live in Europe know, especially women of color, they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. They don't know what our hair, like we could walk out, I could walk out here with, I don't know, my Afro cricket and everything else, and nobody is going to blink twice. Black people might, but the white folks, they're not. And the truth is, Black people only care about these sort of things because they think that it's going to be representative of how the global minority looks at the rest of us. Why do we care? Why aren't we uniting to change the standard and say it doesn't matter her hair? She's a fucking champion. But then Black women, why? And these are the things, these are the reflections and the projections that we have within ourselves as people of color who don't know how to deal with supporting one another emphatically. And it should be that way. Because when you look at some of the other sides, you know, if we look at our politics, especially in the United States, people just they might not like that conservative person. They might think he's an idiot, but you know what? They're going to support it because they want to win. They want the chance to put their ideas in our face and force it down our throat. So that the fact that we still keep playing this game to the minority in the world is frustrating to watch and see. And I mean, I get people in my comments all the time with especially the last video I made about Kamala Harris. People don't think that people of color, Black people, whatever, recognize their tactics. And some Black people will put it on you. They'll tell you, you know, you must not be so smart to be like following what Black people do or following what people of color are doing or blah, blah, blah. You must not be so smart. These are the things that they keep doing and using to stay in control of the entire globe so that our standards never match. They never are fair. And we keep playing into it. Guys. Anyway, what I did love to see was that the gymnastics team, Simone Biles, and the two other women, even though they did not necessarily, like the woman from Portugal, no, excuse me, Brazil. But what was amazing to see is that when we do support each other, how amazing we all are. And our game gets better. We can look at the gymnastics team, 3 women of color, 3 Black women, all took home gold, silver, and bronze, right? And they supported that the one that won the gold. They bowed down to her because she deserved it. But what it does is help them with their game going forward. They know what they have to do to get better. They know what they have to do to continue to compete, and they can still support that person. They can all be winners, and it can be amazing to see when that happens. They don't even have a, like the woman who won gold doesn't even speak English, but she could feel the love from the other competitors in her field. Guys, I think it's important for us to have these discussions as people of color because it is unfortunately trauma at times that can connect us and trauma that we can work through together to heal. And as we can, if we can make our own agendas seen globally, that all of these things need to also be inclusive to us, then we actually start to build a fairer world for ourselves. But it will never happen as long as we get ready to jump on the bandwagon of everything that we feel is rejected about us onto someone else. So, guys, I would love to see the discussion in the comments. I've been having some really interesting comments, like I said, some people who are trying to use a lot of interesting tactics that I see when you're a person of color, a woman of color, and they want to try and make you feel small. And it's typical and it's not new, unfortunately. So guys, subscribe to my channel. As you can see, I'm still at the sea. You hear the cicadas in the background singing their love songs, and I am going to go ahead and relax in this hammock again. So ciao ciao for now.